to Burger King, if I get an order of onion rings, there's always a couple of French fries mixed in there with them. Always, but if I get the French fries, there's never any onion rings mixed in there. Are they in the same pile or aren't they? You know, sometimes you go to McDonald's or Burger King, sometimes the people that work there, they're sharp and are on the ball. Other times you just gotta wonder, you gotta wonder what that hiring interview was like. Please, come in, sit down. Can you mumble? Can you mumble without making eye contact? Would you be willing to goof around with your coworkers while the customer grows impatient? Great, I think you'd be a good candidate for our management training program. We're gonna have you watch an 8-minute training video, then we'll put you on the front counter. People get their own drinks now, you just gotta hand them a cup. But when you hand them a cup, make sure your fingers are sticking down inside the cup. That's our policy. And you just give them a bag of food and you're done. There's no need to say thank you because we wrote that on the trash box.
Rosen, it's good to be here. What's today, Thursday? I'm all screwed up because of the Monday holiday. I'll be screwed up for about a month or so. Have you stopped writing 2023 yet? I did. I started immediately writing 2024. I think the older I get, the more I forgot what the previous year was, so I remember 2024. It's the most closest thing to my memory. 608 at WRJN Radio. Looking for a partly sunny day today with a high near 33. Partly cloudy, lows 26 tonight. Cloudy tomorrow with a high near 36. Chance of rain or snow tomorrow with a high near 37. Just a slight chance. That's Saturday. Sunday, cloudy with a high near 37. Right now it's cloudy and 30 degrees in Racine. As you heard, the Bucks lost to the Pacers last night, 142-130. Tonight, the Bucks take on San Antonio. They'll be in San Antonio to play the Spurs tonight, 6 p.m. right here on WRJN. Coming up at 7:06 this morning, we're talking about murder. Cold-blooded murder. Dial M for Murder, the newest show at the Racine Theater Guild. And we've got the director of the show coming up at 7:06, and then we'll tell you how you can win tickets to see Dial M for Murder at the Racine Theater Guild. I noticed when I come in, more and more homes took down or don't turn on their Christmas lights. It was so nice when I first started here in November. Every morning when I was coming in at 5 o'clock, 5:15 in the morning, all the Christmas lights were up. It was like going down a Christmas lane coming down, but most of them are off now. It's kind of sad. I liked it. I got to interview Phil Collins once. I forget what it was for. He was promoting something. Anyway, so we're talking, and he told me when he did the music for the movie. Which movie did he do? Did he do Aladdin? I forget which Disney film he did. Oh, he did one of the Disney movies, Phil Collins. He wrote songs for the movie. I can't remember which one. It was. I think it was Aladdin, wasn't it? It was one of them. Anyway, when it came to Broadway, they came back to me and said, well, just use my songs from the movie. Wasn't that easy? He said they made him rewrite most of the songs for Broadway. He thought he had it in the bag. Just take the songs from the movie. And he said, it doesn't work like that. Broadway's a little bit different than the movies. It was a good interview. He was a very nice man. Very nice. I forgot that I interviewed him. In fact, I interviewed him right here at the station. During the break, I'll look it up, see what that was bothering me, what movie he wrote him for. I thought it was was it Aladdin? I can't remember now. It was one of the Disney shows that eventually went to Broadway. We'll find out what it is. I know you're patiently waiting for it. All right, we've got a slump coming up at work today. A slump is coming up. It's an afternoon slump, though. It's not the morning slump. They ask, do you regularly hit the afternoon slump at work when you feel like drained and unmotivated? 1 in 5 Americans in this poll said, yes, they do. It's usually most likely to happen. The average person hits the wall at 3 p.m. So at 3 p.m. today, get ready for a slump. Their slump lasts a total of 29 minutes, not 30 minutes, 29 minutes. Here are the top 5 things causing that slump. That caffeine high you had at lunchtime, gone. General boredom sets in by 3 o'clock. A lack of energy. You need to eat. It's been, 3 hours. And you're underslept. Now, I'm going to give you a little clue here on how to get that energy back again. Real simple. Get a bottle of water and drink the whole thing down. Guzzle it. You'll be surprised how revitalized you feel just by drinking a bottle of water. Works for me. Anytime I'm kind of like, bleh, at home, I just drink the bottle of water and I perk right back up again. 33% of people said they've made New Year's resolutions this year. Another 16% say they plan to, but haven't gotten around to it yet. In a separate poll, people were asked what kinds of resolutions they're making, and the most common choices were saving money, being happy, eating healthier, exercising more, and improving their physical health. Here's a list of tips on how to achieve those goals. Write them down, create a plan, and surround yourself with supportive people. I made it a goal this year. I started in November. I think I told you this. I'm going to start seeing every doctor to poke and prod my body and find out what's wrong, what's right, and do everything. And so I'm going to do that this year. I started in November. I had to go for my annual physical. That's just something that I didn't set up. It's just, set up a year ago. Every year I go for an annual physical, and everything was perfect. Everything was good. Last month, I went to a dermatologist, check out everything there, make sure there's no cancer, make sure everything was fine. I passed with flying colors. I'm going to go to a podiatrist, make sure my feet are in good shape. I got a dentist. I've got the eye doctor. And I got to go to my cardiologist. I had heart surgery about 12, 13 years ago. And every 6 months, you got to go for a CT scan just to make sure everything's working well. So far, so good. 13 years. So I'm looking forward to that. So I'm getting everything done this year. And I'm tired of saying, oh, gee, I didn't notice that before. I wonder if that's important. When you look at your body, sometimes you say, gee, that wasn't there yesterday. Where'd that come from? Especially the older you get. And you really got to check yourself out. But I'm saving the big one, maybe, for later this year, the colonoscopy. I've been through 2 of them. I'm saving the big one just to make sure everything else is okay first. Then I'll use that one. But, yeah, that's the big one. We'll put that in my back pocket for now. I got a whole year to think about that one. Woman in Florida files a lawsuit against the Hershey Company for $5 million. Now, what do you think she did? Did she swallow something, find a pin in it, glass in her chocolates? No. What do you hear this? She claims their seasonal pumpkin-shaped Reese's Peanut Butter Cups are falsely advertised. She claims the packaging shows the pumpkins having carved-out faces, but in reality, when she opened it up, there were no faces. And that bothered her to the tune of $5 million. See, this is why murderers wait 2 or 3 years to get their trials started. Because people like this are putting nuisance lawsuits in there, and murderers are patiently waiting their turn in jail, in prison, for a couple of years because of this woman. I should have used this story a few minutes ago. The average American feels they're only 70% healthy. I agree. I would go a little less than that. But you got to take care of yourself, and that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. I meant to read that poll before. If you feel you're 70% healthy, you got to work on the other 30% you don't think is healthy, and take a walk every day. Even if it's cold outside, bundle up and take a walk somewhere. Walk around the block once. I'm lucky I don't live that far from the lakefront, so I can walk on the lakefront. I used to do it when I had a dog. Every single day I was walking that dog on the lakefront. Every single day. The only time I didn't, if it was below zero, because his pads on his feet would get, bothered from the cold. And if it was really searing hot, I didn't take him. I drove him there and we walked on the grass because I didn't want him walking on the pavement or the asphalt. But every day we walked. It didn't walk in a snowstorm or a rainstorm, but other than that, we walked every single day, and that's how I got my exercise. Now, he's gone a year, and I really don't do that much walking anymore. I probably should, so I'm going to start doing that again, get that other 30% up there, and just eat right. It's not that difficult to eat right. I mean, I'm one to talk, but it's not that difficult. And the other thing is, if you smoke, stop smoking. All right, that's not going to lead to anything good when you smoke. And I know people tell you that all the time, but it leads to nothing good. Speaking about bad foods, have you ever had a pizza with 10 different cheeses on it? All right. This pizza was baked in France, and it just broke the Guinness World Record for the most varieties of cheese on it. It's got over 1,000 types of cheese on it. Two questions. First of all, how big is this pizza? And second of all, how much does it weigh? Unless they just put a tiny, tiny bit of the cheese on the pizza. But you got to ask yourself, 1,000 different types? I didn't know there were 1,000 different types of cheeses. But there you go. Here's a new term that's going to bother you. A lot of people hate it already. It's called buddy moons. Like a honeymoon, but a buddy moon. Basically, it's a honeymoon where friends and family are invited to join you. You got to be kidding me. You can have your mother, your father, and your friends on your honeymoon? That can't be good. I would never do that. I was going to read this thing to you, but I don't have a lot of information on it, but I'll read it anyway. What the heck? People who move their couch out for 30 days can enter a contest for $2,500 cash, which will be used to cover the cost of storage, plus a new home set of gym equipment. The idea is not to have a couch there to reduce temptation, just to lay on your couch. I don't have the website or how to do the contest. They didn't give the information. But there is a contest out there. A buddy moon. Could you imagine mom and dad? Oh, what are we going to do tonight? Come on, Sonny, let's do something fun. Oh, what do you mean you're going to do that tonight? And your friends? I don't think so. Buddy moons. Who started that stupid thing? Partly sunny today with a high near 33 degrees. Right now it's cloudy and 30 around town. It's 6:19 at WRJN Radio. I'm Don Rosen. Hometown Radio refreshed from Civic Media.
He was born in the summer of his 27th year, coming home to a place he'd never been before. He left yesterday behind him. You might say he was born again. You might say he found the key for every door. When he first came to the mountains, his life was far away. On the road, hanging by a song. But the string's already broken, and he doesn't really care. It keeps changing fast, and it don't last for long. The Colorado Rocky Mountains.
What a great career John Denver had until he made that horrible, horrible mistake of going into, was it an experimental aircraft or something? He was flying in and it crashed and killed him. Yeah, that was a bad mistake. He was in quite a few movies too, John Denver. The Oh God series, which was really successful. And of course, all his hit songs that he wrote. Come on, you got to admit, a lot of them. Got a great Christmas song we listen to every year, John Denver and the Muppets, 12 Days of Christmas. It's a classic.
He climbed Cathedral Mountains, he saw silver clouds below. He saw everything as far as you can see. And they say that he got crazy once, and he tried to touch the sun. And he lost a friend, but kept the memory. solitude, the forests and the streams, seeking grace in every step you take.
What a great song, huh?
It's
It's 622 at WRJN Radio. Thanks for joining us here on this Thursday morning. Hospice Alliance provides patients facing a serious illness in southeast Wisconsin with quality end-of-life care. A community-committed, not-for-profit, Hospice Alliance offers supportive care management, always on the forefront of patient-focused care and caregiver support. When seeking hospice care, ask for Hospice Alliance, the award-winning community-based nonprofit that gives back through education, services, and grief support. To learn more, visit hospicealliance.org. That's hospicealliance.org. 623 at WRJN Radio. Partly sunny with a high near 33 today. Cloudy right now and 30 degrees. Coming up tonight, we've got the Bucks against the Spurs in San Antonio. 6 p.m. game time on WRJN Radio. Right now it's time for Odd But True. Bill Lear, now you know him, right? He's the guy who invented the Learjet, right? He also invented the 8-track tape player. Probably more importantly, one of his daughters was named Shanda. That's right. Chandelier. Well, we can only hope she got married and had to change her name. Chandelier. The average person in a relationship sits through 4 hours of shows and movies they do not like each week. You know why? Well, they'd rather sit through something they hate rather than fight over the remote or start an argument about what's on the television set or which movie they go to. That's so true. just take the hit for the team and, move on. I kind of found this amazing. Let me just write something down here before I forget it. Okay. Sorry for interrupting. I had to do some housekeeping here. You'd think that almost every popular group has won a Grammy sometime or another. But that's not true. Listen to this. These groups never won a Grammy Award. The Beach Boys, the Monkees, the Supremes, Journey, Foreigner, Andy Williams, the Backstreet Boys, Cat Stevens, The Who, the Moody Blues, and Queen never won a Grammy Award. That's almost, unbelievable. These are all hit groups. How did they not win a Grammy? I remember the Beatles just won one a couple of years ago. It was one of these honorary ones. I don't think the Beatles ever won for their music, though. All right, here's something every parent was waiting for. Smart diapers. It can sense when your child needs to be changed. It sends a push notification to your phone. The diapers are still in the developmental stage, however. But when they're available, so I guess the old smell test isn't going to work anymore. Just get a notification to your cell phone and change the dirty diapers. I guess that's how they're going to do it. Most of us work, 40 hours a week? Maybe a little less, maybe a little more. All right, here are some things that can happen if you work more than 40 hours a week. You have a risk of having a stroke or heart attack going up. Your risk of getting injured on the job goes up, of course. You stop actually being good at your job. Researchers found that at the 50-hour job, at the 50-hour mark, job performance starts to plateau, and more than 65 hours a week, performance sharply drops off. We have a friend of ours who's always have to work. It's mandatory overtime, and he's always working overtime. So I don't know if that affects him or not. Yeah. I used to work a lot of hours here years ago, like 12 hours a day, sometimes more. I look back now and say, what was I thinking? Odd but true, when L. Frank Baum was writing The Wonderful Wizard of Oz, he got the name Oz from, get this, his filing cabinet. One drawer was marked A to G, one was H to N, and one was O to Z. Oz. Really? It's kind of funny how people get things in their head, but that's what he did. All right, how about some showbiz news? Taylor Swift dethroned Elvis now for the most number ones on the Billboard Album 200 charts by a solo artist with 68. Her 1989 album sits atop the chart for the 5th consecutive week. Aaron Rodgers suggesting that Jimmy Kimmel could be on the list of Jeffrey Epstein's associates. Jimmy threatened to sue Aaron, saying, quote, "Your reckless words put my family in danger." Why would Aaron Rodgers do that? Why'd you get involved with that stuff? A few deaths to report from the past weekend. Tom Wilkinson. He was in The Full Monty, Batman Begins, and a ton of other movies. He passed away. And here's a guy I didn't know was still with us. Shecky Green, legendary comedian. Back in the 60s and 70s, it was always on television, and he just passed away over the weekend. I didn't check his age, but he had to be up there because, it's been a long time. Here's a fun fact for you. Diet Pepsi isn't vegan. Pepsi won't say what animal ingredients it uses to keep it from being vegan, but they say it's commercially sensitive information. What kind of animal stuff can they use in Diet Pepsi? I mean, what could possibly in there? Animal fat? And that odd smell in your house? Probably not you, so don't worry. The average person has 5 expired items stinking up the refrigerator right now. Takes 5 weeks of something going bad before we'll investigate the smell. Probably the last time you cleaned out your fridge, the average person says, back in September. Now, I'll be honest. I do have a bottle of milk a carton of milk that expired. But it's only like a couple of days. Jerry Seinfeld once said, do you sit there with that carton of milk, you look at the date, say, oh, God, you drink it by midnight. It's going to be expired by midnight. I got to drink it now. That's the way I feel when I see the date on there. If it's expired on the 3rd and today's the 4th, can't drink it now. Some machine stuck 3 on there. I panic about it. 628 at WRJN Radio. Thanks for joining us today. Always remember that you have choices. Hospice Alliance provide your loved ones care in their home or at the home of a family member. In a senior community or skilled nursing home, Hospice Alliance also provides care in their Pleasant Prairie Hospice House. When seeking hospice care, ask for Hospice Alliance, the award-winning community-based nonprofit that gives back through education, services, and grief support. To learn more, visit hospicealliance.org. That's hospicealliance.org. 629 at WRJN.
Authorities in Georgia are looking for a woman who allegedly posed as a Waffle House employee, worked at the restaurant for 2 hours, and then stole cash from the register. A spokesman for Waffle House is calling her Employee of the Month.
A new report shows that Loma Linda, California is the city most likely to become a blue zone, which is an area where people are healthier and live longer, while the town least likely to become a blue zone is once again Breakfast Fettuccine, Texas.
The family that was planning a trip to Disney World meant to buy a bunch of Disney Parks gift cards, but they accidentally bought $10,000 worth of gift cards for Disney Plus. $10,000 on streaming, or as Netflix calls it, a one-year subscription. There you go.
Imagine buying $10,000 in Disney Plus cards when you thought they were Disney amusement park cards. Oh, no. I wonder if you get your money back. Can you switch it back? Oh, I remember once, I got the DVD service from Netflix, and I bought a gift card for $30, and I went to apply it, and this is after years of getting them. And they said, well, we're getting rid of that service. And I said, well, what about the $30 gift card for the next 3 months, your final 3 months? They said, no, we won't accept them anymore. You have to use it toward our Netflix service. And I had 2 of them for $30 somebody gave me as a gift. Yeah, they don't give you money back on those gift cards. Once you get them, you're kind of stuck. But $10,000 in Disney Plus cards, you can watch Disney Plus for the rest of your life, your kid's life, and your grandkid's life. Maybe your great-grandkid's life, too. 636 at WRJN Radio. Partly sunny with a high near 33 degrees today. Partly cloudy tonight. Lows around 26. Cloudy tomorrow, 36. The high Saturday. A chance of rain or snow. Don't worry about it, though. Highs near 37. Cloudy Sunday with a high near 37. Right now, it's cloudy and 30 degrees. your morning news. Stuart J. Waddles in our news center this morning. He's supplying our news for us, and these are the stories Stuart's watching for us. City of Kenosha leaders have taken a major step forward in the plan for a new casino. On an 11-6 vote, Alders voted in favor of the Hard Rock Casino Kenosha during the city council meeting last night. The plan, which has been in the works for some form now since 2013, aims to establish a full casino and a 150-room hotel near 994 and 60th Street. Despite previous delays and opposition, the city is pushing ahead with the county board still needing to weigh in. The super search in Racine needs your input. Racine Unified has scheduled a series of sessions in which they want the public to provide feedback about what they want in a new school superintendent. The first of the sessions is January 23rd. The district has hired a search firm to find candidates. The timeline for applications is in by the end of February. Interviews in March, with a selection to have to be made by April. There are some folks in Racine County that can finally call Caledonia home. In the fall, the village of Caledonia was officially added to the U.S. Postal Service zip code lists for several zip codes, but 53126 was not initially included. However, officials say that after ongoing efforts with the United States Postal Service, residents using the 26 zip can now be included in Caledonia in their official address. This means that all addresses within the village can now incorporate Caledonia into their address. There's more about mailing updates on the village website. And finally, it's getting a little less social in downtown Racine. The owner of the Social on 6th event space on 6th Avenue says she's closing the venue in April. In a social media post, the owner indicates a possible transition to a retail environment. Social on 6th has been hosting events like weddings, parties, and art exhibits. Those are the stories that Stuart J. Waddles is watching for us in our news center throughout the day today. I'll update you and add stories as the days go on. I didn't know that was such a big deal in Caledonia about the zip code. Who knew? You know, it's funny because something very similar happened when I was growing up. Because I grew up in a town called Massapequa, but in the center of Massapequa was another town called Massapequa Park. Now, the zip code for Massapequa was 11758. The zip code for Massapequa Park was 11762. But Massapequa Park wasn't perfectly in the center of Massapequa. It was laid out in such a way where on the east side, there were two blocks that were still in Massapequa, although Massapequa Park encompassed a lot of blocks after that. And I was on one of those blocks. And we were told, even though we lived in Massapequa, to put the Massapequa Park zip code down and we'd get our mail faster. And we did. And for years, even though we never lived in Massapequa Park, we used that zip code. So I kind of feel for these people in Caledonia, what they're going through with the zip codes. And we had that way back when I was a kid. And nobody on our block used the Massapequa zip code because you get your mail faster by going through another town. Actually, an unincorporated village. So I know that story's kind of boring, but it was important to our family back when we were growing up. A study found that two words mathematically proven to make your online dating profile more attractive. They are surfing and yoga. Two things I don't do, and I also don't do online dating. But if I did, I don't surf and I don't do yoga. Here's some other words the guys could use: skiing and ocean. Two things I have no relationship with whatsoever. For the ladies, it's London, athlete, and New York City. So I want to know how you work London into your dating profile if you've never been there before. 48% of Americans think they're workaholics. Here are the top signs you might be one. You prioritize your work over your personal life. You worry about work during your days off. You struggle to stop working on vacation. You check your work email at night. You're often the first person to get to work, the last to leave. You feel like you can't take vacation because you're too busy. You usually work through lunch. You feel anxious if you don't check in or know what's happening at work. Your friends or family say you work too much. And you check your work email first thing in the morning. Yeah, that was me at one time. All that was me. Not anymore, though. Change my head. You got to change your head around. And you know what? You will regret it someday if you put your work above your family. Someday you might regret it. You'll say, gee, where did those years go? All of a sudden, my daughter is 30 years old. When was she like 10 years old? It happens. Study found the 10 days of the year were least focused on work. And they happen to all fall on a Monday and Tuesday. Now, Monday, I can understand you coming off a weekend. You're kind of blah. You got to go back to work. I would think the other day is Friday because you're so anxious to get out of work to start the weekend that you're not focused. But they say Tuesday for some reason. I'm thinking about that. Why Tuesday? There's a 50-year-old woman in England who hasn't smiled in 40 years. Why? She doesn't want to get wrinkles. And I didn't see a picture of her, but the people who did say it worked. They say she doesn't look 50 years old. She says it's been worth it, even if she never smiles. And she didn't even smile when her daughter was born. That's how seriously she's taking this. But if somebody tickles you or tells you a funny joke, how do you not laugh? I mean, you can't control that sometimes. If somebody tells you a real funny joke, you can't prevent laughing at that. She did, and now she didn't have any wrinkles. Kind of a waste of a life, huh? Not laughing at anything, not smiling. All right, you like Facebook? Let's find out. Check out the little ways Facebook does ruin your life. No one sends birthday cards anymore. That's so true. They wish you happy birthday, one general happy birthday on Facebook. You realize people have way cooler lives than you do. Books, movies, and TV shows are constantly spoiled for you. And also Christmas cards. People say, Merry Christmas. Well, that was on Facebook. You didn't tell me Merry Christmas in person by a card. I just remember, even as an adult, going to the store and buying a box of Hallmark cards. You get these real good ones. We used to have them, we bought, where they had velvet on them. I still have one or two of them left. They were so nice. Now you get Christmas cards from charities in the mail, because I donate to a lot of animal charities and disabled vet charities in Boys Town and things like that. And every once in a while, they'll send you a stack of Christmas cards. So I use those now. And we sent out a bunch of them this year. We had 10 Christmas cards on our wall. We hung them up. One of them was from Boucher Chevrolet. It came with a discount card inside. They didn't know who they sent it to. So that means 9. And I think one of them was also a business one. And they said, Merry Christmas, by the way, and don't forget your insurance needs. But yeah, I did get a couple. And I'll tell you, one person that never forgets Christmas, Janet Hoff. Every year, I get a plate of home-baked cookies from her. Every year. And it's been going on for years and years and years. This year, I thought she forgot, but she didn't. She actually met me outside the building when I was getting off the air and gave me the plate of cookies. We live for those every year because you can't buy them in the stores. They're home-baked, and she does such a great job at it. I don't know what she finds the time to do it because they're all different. They're all different shapes, sizes, and kinds of cookies, but they are delicious. So every Christmas, I wait for my tray of cookies, my plate of cookies. Let's put it that way. And my wife said, "Did she bring the cookies? You bring the cookies home? They're so good." Thank you, Jan. Thank you very much. And of course, we get Christmas cards from them, and some people send them every year. Not a lot, though. The final tally, not counting Boucher Chevrolet, was 9. I still think one of those was a business one. When I was worked at my first station, they used to send out a mimeographed, get that word, mimeograph list of all the employees and their addresses and phone numbers so you can get a hold of them. There was no email or anything like that back then, no computers. And we used to use that list to send out Christmas cards. And there were like 25, 30 employees in the company, including part-time people. I used to send out 25 or 30 Christmas cards just from work. That's not counting my friends. I used to send them to. I used to send out 40 or 50 Christmas cards every year. Of course, postage wasn't 60-some-odd cents a card. But still, I did that, and I enjoyed doing it. And this year when my wife said, let's send out Christmas cards, I love doing that. I use different color pens. I do. I have a purple pen, I have a green pen, and a red pen. I have the black and blue ones, too, but I use the color ones. And I have special Christmas return address things I put on there, too. I love doing that stuff. I just wish I got more back, but it is what it is. Is it okay to interrupt someone's conversation with you? According to a body language expert, if they see you turn their entire bodies so their feet are pointed at you, it means the conversation probably isn't that important. And it's okay to join in, interrupt. But if they only turn their head or upper body with their feet still pointed at each other, it means they're fully engaged in the conversation and don't interrupt. Who knew? Who knew there was etiquette about that? Planning on getting married in 2024? Get ready. The average wedding cost, now this is average, $35,329. That's up about $3,000 from a year ago. On average, 44% of it comes from the bride's parents. Only 13% comes from the groom's parents, and 42% comes from the bride and groom themselves. Yeah, my daughter got married in 2022, and yeah, it's expensive. But, you only do it once, hopefully. Well, I shouldn't say that. A dad let his 6-year-old son play a game on his phone. He ended up ordering $1,000 worth of food on Grubhub, leading to a parade of delivery trucks right outside their house. Would have been more, but the credit card got locked after a while. That must have been something, huh? Got to have a conversation with that kid. Oh, let's see. I got a fun fact for you real quickly here. The first big studio movie to feature the F-bomb was MASH in 1970. That was the first movie to do it. I didn't know that. There was a big football game at the climax of the movie, and one character named Painless let it loose. Well, that's not good. No. Hey, say Hospice Alliance is the number one choice for patients facing end of life and empowering those who support them. Hospice Alliance provides comfort and dignity to enhance their quality of life each day. When seeking hospice care, ask for Hospice Alliance, the award-winning community-based nonprofit that gives back through education, services, and grief support. To learn more, visit hospicealliance.org. That's hospicealliance.org. I'm Don Rosen, 649 at WRGN. We're talking murder at 7:06 with the director of Dial M for Murder at the Racine Theater Guild. Keep it right here, WRGN Radio. Hometown Radio refreshed, a civic media station. Good morning, 6:51 at WRGN Radio. Bucks lose to the Pacers last night, 142 to 130. Tonight, the Bucks will be in San Antonio to take on the Spurs. 6 p.m. game time at WRJN Radio, home of the Packers, the Bucks, the Badgers, and in this year, we start with the Milwaukee Brewers. Partly sunny today with a high near 33 degrees. Partly cloudy, lows around 26 tonight. Cloudy tomorrow with a high near 36. Chance of rain Saturday or maybe even some snow. Highs near 37. Sunday, cloudy with a high near 37. Coming up at 7:06, we'll be speaking to the director of Dial M for Murder, coming to the Racine Theater Guild. And we'll be giving away tickets as well. Not today, probably tomorrow. You have to listen to find out. We've got some tickets to give away to Dial M for Murder. We're going to talk about, is it the same as the movie Dial M for Murder, the Alfred Hitchcock classic, which, by the way, was in 3D. Hitchcock, I don't know if he wanted to make it in 3D, but I don't think the studio gave him a choice. 3D was the hot thing back in the 50s, and they made him shoot it in 3D. I don't know if I saw it in 3D once. I think I did. I think one of the stations ran it in 3D, and you were able to get glasses through the mail and watch it. I think I did. All right. Question, do you have next day anxiety? Survey found it's the number one thing that keeps us up at night. It also takes an average of 27 minutes to fall back to sleep again. 54% of us claim we have trouble sleeping without our favorite pillow. Oh, I had to sleep in a hotel recently when I went to our Christmas party up in the Dells. And I have a hard pillow. And this was a soft pillow. And I didn't sleep all night. Plus, I didn't bring my fan with me. I usually bring a little fan. Are you one of those people that has to have a fan blowing on you at night? It's not as weird as you think it is. A lot of people have that. A lot of people I talk to, always, they have a fan blowing on them. And I forgot to bring it. And I couldn't, it was too quiet. I can't have quiet when I sleep. I got to have noise. I know it sounds odd and weird, but a lot of people are like that. When I had my surgery in the hospital 13 years ago, I said to the nurse, can you bring in a fan? She goes, you want a fan? She brought this giant Lawrence of Arabia sandstorm fan in the room. It was huge. And it was oscillating back and forth. And when the nurses came in the middle of the night, they put their papers on the tray and they blew all over the room. So they got a series of paperweights to put on their papers. I remember the surgeon coming in to check on me. He looked at the fan. He says, do you want this blowing on you? I said, yes. He said, how do you sleep with this blowing on you? I said, I can't sleep if it's not blowing on me. It was an old fan in the basement of the hospital, and I thanked them very much. It was St. Luke's in Milwaukee, and I thanked them very much, that nurse who brought it. She goes, yeah, I think we have one for you. I thought it was going to be a little tiny fan I could put by the bedside. It's a huge thing that they used to make Lawrence of Arabia to get that sandstorm going. But I thank her very much. I talked to my wife about this last night. How is your significant other listed on your cell phone? A tweet went viral a few days ago when a woman discovered her husband had her in his contacts with her full first name and last name. She thought that was kind of strangely formal. People are now sharing how they name their partners in their contacts. I have a pet name for my wife, and that's how I'm listed. She's listed in my phone. I don't know how I'm listed in her phone. I have to ask her. Yeah, I don't list her, full name, middle name, and, but this guy did. And his wife said, that's odd. It is odd when you think about it. It is. All right, what else I got for you here today? A website ranked all 50 states from the best place for single people to the worst place for single people. It's based on everything from the percentage of single people in restaurants per capita. Based on all that, these are the top 10 states for single people. Florida, number 1, followed by Texas, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, number 4, New York, Illinois, California, Ohio, Michigan, and Missouri. On the worst list, New Mexico, West Virginia, North Dakota, Hawaii, Arkansas, Delaware, Kentucky, Wyoming, Alaska, and Mississippi. You would think Hawaii would be on the best list. Being single in Hawaii? You would think so. Wisconsin. I think that's because of Madison. I really believe Madison it's always on this list of party places and places to be single, and I think that kind of upped the state. Yeah. It's a pretty crazy video going viral right now. It shows a woman leading an online aerobics class in Myanmar. Now, the problem with that is she doesn't realize that a coup was going down right behind her with people taking over the city, taking over the country in Myanmar. So she's doing this thing online, aerobics exercising, and there are guys with guns rounding up people, the military. She didn't realize it was going on. A guy in Oakland International Airport made a bomb threat because he was upset his flight was delayed. I got news for him. That's not going to make his flight leave any faster. These people are so stupid. Okay. Got a couple of fun facts here for you. There are 1,600 Chili's locations around the world, and every single one of them has a picture hanging upside down. They claim it's for good luck. When Eggos were invented back in 1953, they were called Frothies, or frozen waffles, Frothies. People started calling them Eggos because they kind of taste like eggs. Within 2 years, the company changed it. The Violent Femmes broke up, the group The Violent Femmes. Wendy's used their song Blister in the Sun in an ad in 2007, and members of the group got into a huge fight about it. They wound up suing one another and disbanded 2 years later. And zebras, let's talk about their stripes. They don't have black and white stripes, by the way. They're actually black with white stripes. That never caused an argument in your house, did you, over that? A lot of people argue about the dumbest things. I thought maybe that might be one of them. All right, coming up on the other side of news, sports, and weather, we have got the director. I'll tell you who it is. Coming up on the other side, the director of Dial M for Murder, coming to the Racine Theater Guild. My wife and I have season tickets. We see every show they do, and every one is fantastic. I've never run to a bad show at the Racine Theater Guild. Where they get this group of actors, I don't know. But we'll find out. That's coming up in just a moment here at WRJN Radio. Hometown Radio refreshed, a civic media station at 1400 AM, 99.9 FM in Racine and 98.1 FM in Kenosha. Also, we stream online at WRJN.com and the Civic Media app. Got you covered.